So I've always tried to maintain my cool. And as a target individual, it's tough because you're surrounded by perps, right? It's just so obvious what these things and this program is about at this point. I can predict what they're going to do, and I'm not in the best state of my mind. They've been telling me how I'm going to be tortured, right? And I understand these people have been humiliated, but just reality. It's not even me trying to humiliate them, but they've been provoked by the fact that there is so much testimonials of exactly what they do. That this psyop they wanted to present all kind of psyop. You just saw the last video. It was this some next door trash. They tell me like they're like investigating. It's just damn near, you know. So let me just start from the beginning, and I just try to calmly speak, because I know this could be the last time I speak. So I want to make sure that everything I said is something that if I never say again, I'm feel okay that I said. I'm a target individual. You hear that called as TIs, target individual, and what it means is I am a subject in this human experimentation. I'm being utilized as a guinea pig in the developing of this technology. I'm not the only one. There's many like me. I found that out and found out how systematic is. Someone said it's almost surreal to hear somebody who says exactly what you're going through, but you have no idea who that person is. You've never met that person. Some of these people are not even no longer with us. And it's just beyond obvious that what's happening to me is what's been done to others. And for me, they've been trying to play this like, no, this is we're different. And they've always been trying to present themselves as people who are avenging, protecting the community, creating this like psyops that have been created onto others. Literally, even the psyop has been created, even somebody else who said that there's this group of individuals that try to present themselves in these ways as if they're protecting the organization, as I'm saying that they did some things, there's always to counter that. And even that psyop has been addressed by others. Even when they try to be like, we're a bunch of, look at us, we're women. So we're protecting, we're avenging for the women that you've harmed and do this, we're doing this for them. What's stopping you? And then you hear a woman literally calling out the fact that there's a lot of females involved in my targeting. Other women are saying that because the psyops can come in different shapes. Some people think this is a cult, right? And I understand you once you're in this bubble of false reality, they can create any fantasies. And they can make you believe that this is a cult of people doing this, and it's like, when in reality is obviously some governmental entity running this. It doesn't take much to understand that it's obviously a governmental entity coming from the intelligence community. Most likely DoD related, and DARPA has 100% involvement in that. It's as simple as going on their website and look for anything brain initiative related. You'll hear like they openly talk about how they've been investing in neurotechnology since the 70s. This is the Department of Defense like brain. So you understand that's what they do. Even if you look for directed energy, these people continue right now on their website call out that they work on directed energy type of components. And then if you look at directed energy by the Department of Defense, you see that they say, they spend billions of dollars, but never reach maturity. But if they haven't reached maturity today in DARPA, they're still working on devices for directed energy. Like, it's just obvious that those entities are involved in this program, and the reason why the investment is coming from the experimentation of human beings. I don't think this coworker of mine is running this. I don't think this neighbor that I talked about is investing. I know they are contracted. They have this protocol of things to do, to repeat, to do, and they try to make you accept to this. Now, what's happening to my brain? And obviously, there's a lot of other things going on, but beside my brain, I know my organs are being destroyed. I know that something is happening to my body. I can feel it. I know I'm not using the restroom properly. I'm not sleeping properly. I can feel my skin just drying up, my knees, my ankles, my bones, my teeth. And these are things you hear others: teeth decaying, eyes just look. The structure of my skull has changed. I can feel my eye, like kind of being pushed out. I know they're doing things to my body, but this is not because of this apartment. They might be implementing what is requested from them, or what they knew, that's what they're supposed to be doing, but they're just the bottom feeder. When I hear this bottom feeder talking to me and my coworkers, try to make me subscribe to it, it's like, I know what you guys do. I know what this program is truly is about. I know what you guys are doing to even the most vulnerable people. So I am part of this program. I know even who put me in this program. But once you're in this program, this is now completely in the hand of these entities that are running this program. And so with me, it has been a repetition of trying to maintain a psyop. It's like, you think I'm going to ever let you escape? No, it's not. When I make these videos, target individual, I make this as a record, like many others. I don't think this is going to stop whatever's going to happen to me. And something I've noticed while I've been making these videos, please understand that these people doing these things to me aren't living the lavish life. I've seen some of them, just things happening to them in front of me. I see the people involved in them, like, you know how little it will take for you to just time it. They have a countdown for whatever horrible things are going to happen to me. I'm like, you should start having a countdown for you. You see them, you're like, oh my gosh. I've seen one of the neighbors. It was hearing her. I have like, oh my gosh, she's the one talking to me. But V2K, when V2K has the ability, this is the technology that can project the voice remotely into your brain. If they can make it sound like it's just literally next door. When they're just all the way in the other side, or all the way in the other building. And that voice they use while they use V2K, I don't know if they can play with the voices and change the tone of the voices or sound certain ways, but you hear them in person and you're like, oh my God, she started like she talked like that. I'm like, what? But in my head, when they project it, it's just like a most like, I'm like, what? This is look nothing. And she tells me how I'm gonna die in my own blood of pool. I was like, listen, God, give me strength for this horrible, painful death I'm gonna experience. I know it's gonna be bad. These people are humiliated. People who already torture people, torment people, even women and children, have been humiliated by the reality of what they're part of. For some reason, they thought I was gonna let them escape in the psyop. Listen, I'm not a genius, but one thing is for sure, I see things for what they are. I see them for what they're involved in. I truly see these bottom feeders for what they are. I cannot let them escape. I guess that's my strength. I cannot be like, oh my gosh, this is like, of course, immediately it's like, this is governmental influence. I cannot, like, that psyop is not making sense. On top of that, I know who put me in this program. On top of that, then I get the testimonials. So I know who these people do to, and what they've done to women. And so when I hear them, no, we're doing that for what you did to this woman. Listen, do you understand that I've heard plenty of women talking about how they've been tortured and raped every day for decades? And you want me to let you pretend that? Of course I know what you guys do. I know what these people are. And what horribleness they will be doing to other people. And they sound super menacing. Oh, we talk like that. When you see these people, like their voices just... You look at them, it's like, oh my goodness. They completely create a persona for themselves when they start working on this. And then, they don't want to be seen. For me, I just noticed, once you see them in person, it changes. Isolations can create a mystique when you hear them. Once you see them in person, I think that is not is negative. It's bad for them. Because you're like, oh my gosh, these people are truly clowns. And then you start like seeing this technology for the amazing technology that it is, even though it's doing terrible things to you. Because you see, this person is doing this thing to me. This nothing. This technology is scary beyond. Look at this trash. She's like borderline suicidal. I can see. She doesn't even want to be in the elevator with me because she doesn't want to be seen. She's a nothing. Calling herself God when she's doing this. So you start like understanding, okay, wow, this is definitely some DARPA technology. But the other thing they try to do, that's why you have to be strong on you. I am a target individual who's dealing with V2K. What you're going to hear a lot about is how they try to rewire you into something else. The way they've made me think and manipulate my thoughts and try to get you to accept these things and want to gaslight you into accepting this. Never. Never. They have come up with ways of trying to think about retardations of storylines. You've heard them all. Go into my first channel. All the stories you would be like, this you think these people, like you think I'm losing my mind, but these people are true like, oh my gosh, right now somebody's like they're eyeing you. Because this retardation, and I'm telling you, and they really act this way, and you look at them, it's like, oh, it makes sense. And unfortunately for them, so what they used to do, I've noticed, so because of the almost illogicalness of how they want you to subscribe to things, a lot of the perps that interact with, for example, coworkers, they try to make up for the illogicalness they have to push themselves to be by showing how they can be these very efficient workers in these things and other things. Because then they try to they have to make this irrationality of reality together. So you see somebody who is very capable human being, very sensible, very logical, showing you how they can be logical, smart, intellectuals, and then out of nowhere you see them just whoop, becoming damn near, I don't want to use that word, but mentally backward. And you're like, they're clowns. But this purpose that you hear 24/7, they don't have the option to make themselves sound logical and rational. They 24/7 have to make themselves this mentally backward individual to get you to accept these things. And they try to sound hypnotic, but you get it. It's like, and they start using this tonality. It's a lot of manipulations of trying to brainwash you into accepting these things. For example, somebody's like, they're eyeing you. That's how this person is talking to me via V2K. They're eyeing you. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a child trying to sound hypnotic, using a hypnotic voice. Because they have these things when they manipulated me and play this thing when I was on a date and try to create this back and forth, this illogicalness. They're making the noise campaign to try to make me accept these things. And you hear them try to talk, yeah, no, they're lying, huh? Oh. And you're like, they're clowns. They're a human joke. I couldn't imagine myself having to, I couldn't imagine myself having to dumb myself down to this level. I know what they do to me is going to be horrible. Matter of fact, right now, they try to bring something else and manipulate me. I know that I'm going to go through some of the worst torture, but it's just to compensate for the obvious retardation I have to make myself, they have to make me be. They start talking, they're eyeing you. Oh, keep talking. Obviously, I know that my voice is being messed with, and at some point I will not be able to speak. That's why I'm speaking now when I can. They try to warn me of torture for the purpose for me of accepting this thing. Right now they're doing this thing where they make me think of these kids' eyes and try to give the stimulations like that's how you feel. You see, I was like, trash. I know they torture babies. They blind 9-year-old kids. You know I know all these things. And you hear this person, yeah, prepare for this. I know what I'm part of this. What I'm part of. I know it's gonna be bad. But one thing is for sure. I've been validated in so many ways. I've been validated that they manipulate people to think and react to in certain disturbing ways. They brainwash you and just recreate your ways of thinking to make you accept these things. It's like they condition your brain to start thinking these ways and then box in these ways of thinking after manipulating you. I'm thankful I have recorded these things. So when they do these things, I'm like, listen to how Listen to the reality. You think I was going to let you escape? No. I already starved in, but they're going to have to embarrass themselves as gods before they die. It's so disgusting. And seeing them try to make me believe, oh, we're poor, huh? Because we're working for the Department of Defense, huh? Or because we're contracted by this Department of Defense entities, huh? Truly try to speak like that. This is obviously meant to agitate me. It's not working in the sense that I'm going to be like, oh no, you guys are obviously spending your own wealth. This is billions and trillions of dollars that you guys, with your directed energy, wow. This apartment that she's talking about, you're eyeing her. You're eyeing you. This is why I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. Obviously, no Department of Defense is involved in this. No DARPA. What? Government? Ooh, no, this is your own government. You guys are anti-government, obviously. It's like, now we have war. Yeah. I've seen those warriors. Some childlike individuals, like it's like child play. It's like, yes, you're right, because this technology is very sophisticated. Even childlike individuals can do what you do. They are clowns. So for me, I'm just prepping, obviously, for the horrible things I'm going to deal with. But one thing is for sure, I'm just so thankful for all the testimonies, and I ask all the target individuals, please speak about what's happening to me. All the manipulation, the rewiring, the brain somebody's like, one of the perps, he's such a clown. I look at him as a clown, this little beaver looking guy. he always tried to like thinks I'm gonna accept this obvious manipulation. He was like, no, we mapped it and it worked. We mapped it. You're manipulating my brain. You're changing the way I perceive things, just like everybody else. Look at you. Look at who's mapping me. And then, because they do these pedophilia things, and it's like, no, but we mapped it, with your kid. When you were a kid, you look like that. That's how things are. And then you see DARPA. Been working on the brain initiative for decades. Sorry, been working on neurotechnology for decades, since the 70s. Read up looking at the pedophile they called DARPA. A program manager downloading child porn on his government devices. Was he mapping somebody? You understand reality. It's like, it's humiliating. It's like somebody wrote a story here. It's like magical. As they hear, we mapped it. No, it's you. News. DARPA program manager downloading child porn on his government device. Oh, guess what, DARPA? Yeah, they've been working on neurotechnology for decades, since the 70s. Response for them? Oh, they're gonna rape you. What does it sound like? And they're using the tonality. This is what patheticness sounds like. I understand my body is being tortured, but DARPA-like technology. These people are trying to rewire me and manipulate me to start experiencing these nasty things. And they use this beaver-looking trash that's talking to me, trying to be like, do you understand you're a nasty bottom feeder who changed people's brain? Sorry, he's just so contracted. So I get emotional sometimes. I should bring back things to reality. He is obviously just a nobody in this. He's just trying to partake in his participation consists of trying to gaslight me into accepting the way things are happening in my brain. Since August 19, 2019, this program consists of manipulating me to think in a different ways and manipulate me to experience nasty ways of reacting to children, which they like to say, oh no, what we did is we started making you think the way you would think when you were a child. We mapped you to when you were a kid. They are renowned to be manipulating people in these pedophilia ways. They are renowned to implant child porn in people's brain. They are renowned to do this program perversion and aim it toward children. They are renowned to torture children. They are renowned to do these sexual torments They have problem with pedophilia in this, the entities that have contracted this trust in every layers you see. They've been humiliated. People saying, literally, they're trying to change me. Try to be somebody I'm not. Literally. And they think because they're now it's we mapped clown ass, and you hear this cast, this bottom feeder try to tell me now we successfully mapped it. Trash. So you didn't successfully map on Jackie, or Mariana, or Mara, or that's the try to, or almost all target individual. No, you guys do not try to rewire people in something else. You guys don't have pedophilia problem in these agencies. You guys are not changing people in the way they think. This is why you guys have used the creme de la creme. These are Navy SEAL kind of people. Target individual, they are trying to make you as illogical as they are. Or they have to make themselves be. I'm gonna use that word, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult anybody who has, mental retardation. But they want you to become a mental retarded individual. Because at this point, I'm validated. When I know what they do to children. So when they're like, no, but I remember what you did as a kid. It's like, do you understand? I know that you torture children sexually. You trash a low-life bottom feeder. Even thinking about it makes me aggressive. Like, it's just like, I know that these people are suffocating children. And I know somebody has literally said, oh, he believes that the next door 14-year-old Xbox player is doing this. And they're like, no, we are at war. Obviously, that's trying to agitate me. Because we are human guinea pigs. These people are implementing this protocol onto us. It's like saying, we are at war with these guinea pigs that we're working in the lab. They are pedos for trying to make you subscribe to this manipulation they make you experience. And I've seen, I look at them for what they're involved in, exactly what they're doing to me. All this torture and tormenting of women and children these people are involved in, and the way they try to rewire a man or a woman's brain. And you think I'm going to let you escape? Because you look like a woke individual, or like you're such a respectable looking individual, like a typical psyop. Listen, I know it's not going to change what's going to happen to me, but to all my target individuals, do not give them that satisfaction of fantasy they've created. They created psyop. These people, their job is they will easily show their kids. So you, as a target individual, start experiencing disgusting reactions, and they will smile about it. These people working for entities filled with pedophiles. This kind of people in life, they are just, I say that, they're weak people. But I'm just so thankful I didn't have to live life like them. It's fun for them, which is, understand, it's fun. Look at them. They feel like gods. I've seen these people, like, you don't know anything about you. You don't know what's going to happen to you. But for me, you can make me experience everything you want me to. Or at least you can be participating in everything that's going to happen to me. You can make me look at this person like this, like that, like that, like that. You're God. And the satisfaction that you can control somebody and manipulate somebody like that, even if it's pedophilia-centric, makes you feel special. And that's something I can see you liking it. But me, I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. Understand? You are working for entities that manipulate people in these pedophilia ways. You guys work for pedos. These entities contracting you filled with pedophiles, and that's what you get. You trash ass. You thought you were just going to be like, no. You torture children. I know that. You hurt them sexually. You make these kids suffocate. You are nasty bottom feeders, and you are trying to create something that is not real. Death comes to all of us. I'm glad that you were God before that happened to you.
They're trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. It's disgusting. They take this whole thing into account so much and make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting, disgusting, disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just
The targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa is true, that heterosexual targets are forced to view homosexual sexual acts like in the
I can be free from this torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes. I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked him what was wrong and if he needed to use the restroom, but he said no to having to use the restroom and was not able to verbalize anything more due to his language delay. He looked puzzled and bewildered. Even though I had stated that it was time to do more work right before this incident, I quickly just let him play another game, and he quickly returned to his joyful, happy self again. In other sessions, he has also grabbed his crotch and said, "Ow," while looking up at me. Called V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual as well.
Occasion, I was told I was going to be shot in the face. And it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she's going to get shot in the face. You know, sound like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the voice to skull, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's nothing wrong with them? Basically, you know, they call me retarded bitch and all of this here, but I was top of my class in everything that I did. You know, every class I took, I excelled academically.
And I am a victim of organized stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, V2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture, and I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, and I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the US, in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video in remembrance of Targeted Individual Day, our third annual Targeted Individual Day. And I'm asking that every honest-hearted human being open their eyes to a crime.
My name is Jeanette. I am 56 years old and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a victim of covert electronic harassment and torture. I am a targeted individual.
Hello.
Why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. It's brutally painful. I have a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, first floor, second floor, 2 garage, backyard, land, everything. Can't live in my house. My neighbors are shooting direct energy weapons through my house. I hold my heart like this. You know why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. Come get me. Oh, Lord, because I think I'm dying. I'm making this video
in an attempt to expose this horrific nightmare.
Hello, I'm making this video to honor the 3rd annual Targeted Individual Day. That's August 29th, 2020. My name is Linda Marie Sharp in Mendocino County, California, United States. I am a targeted person and have been for over 12 years. I am electronically tortured by directed energy weapons.
Hi, my name is
8 billion brains on the planet, potentially. Read them. Koreans. underwater.
How do you explain this is happening to Len? How do you rationalize?
Come in private. Hold on.
Okay, yeah.
Can I talk? Here's how I do my studies, and I wanted to find the commonalities, but I have to throw away the ones I'm uncertain about that are true targets. You know, maybe there's natural schizophrenia, there's a whole bunch of chemical imbalances, et cetera.
Right.
These weapons can actually induce and mimic all those diseases and effects. But the conversations, the scripts, they're called, I believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len, he very well described a typical breakdown script that's used on almost all the TI victims. TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts. I mean, Kubark manual. And they do good cop, bad cop interrogation called Jeff and Mutt. And they go right through the list, right? Just textbook. So whoever the handlers are,
had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, he was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So you're saying the reason why they didn't take this more seriously, why there weren't actual prosecutions that were carried out, is because they were trying to not only protect their agency, but trying to protect the country from being compromised in some way by our foreign enemies who would use this information in some kind of bribery scheme?
I think that it's actually quite worse than that. In my personal
onto the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, but sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening for whatever reason with more frequency in our intelligence agencies, or is this something that is more pervasive in the general population than I originally realized? I mean, what's going on here? This is so bizarre. Remember, it's so evil.
Allie, we're told, and when I was put through recruitment into the intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance. Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind